Welcome back to another episode of the Downsizing Roadmap Podcast with your hosts, Jody Roscoe and Heather Fisher. We're talking about all things downsizing, from our own experiences with clients to guest experts. Let's make downsizing easier, one conversation at a time.
Hi, welcome to Downsizing Roadmap Podcast. We are talking today about 15 tiny spots to declutter for big relief.
Like tiny.
Yes.
Like really tiny.
Yes. Our definition of tiny here, I think, is like 1 to 3 square feet of space. So very small, but big impact.
Yeah, and I think that's because it really gets that momentum going. And, sometimes there's just areas in my house, I know for sure, that I feel like that bugs me. Like when I walk by it or whatever. And it's not usually a huge area. It's like that pile in the corner or that, pile on a countertop or wherever.
Yeah, we just moved and I have a kitchen island for the first time in my life. And now as soon as I was, looking through and writing notes for this episode, I'm like, yep, it's that 1 square foot on the corner closest to the mudroom. Like that, I can tell you exactly what's on it right now, and none of it belongs in the kitchen.
Well, and the thing is, since you just moved there, like that will become your habit of your dumping place or whatever that looks like, because so you have to figure out, where is my place? Like, if that's going to be it, what do I need to do to keep that organized? Or if that's not going to be it, like, where is it?
Yes.
Yeah. You're already creating your habits around it.
I know. It's bad, but I think I'm not alone. So
no,
if you're
not at all.
tuning into this episode, whether it's your kitchen island or inside the front door or all of the other places we're going to talk about today, they weigh on you in much more disproportionate to the size of the space. They weigh on your mind space much bigger because they're in the way of your daily life.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Jody Roscoe.
I'm Heather Fisher.
So let's talk about 15 tiny spots to declutter for big relief.
Yes, awesome. So, like we said, these are the spots. They're not hidden. They're not deep in the basement or the top
They're
shelves.
actually the ones that are right out where you can see, or like the areas that you use.
Yeah, absolutely. They are affecting the things you do each day because they're in your visual line of sight. They're right there. They're, close to all of the habits that we have, getting ready for the day or picking up our house or resetting at night, the kitchen, the laundry room, all those big rooms that we're using all the time. How can we just do some small areas and change our world, actually?
Yeah. Okay, so the first one is going to be your nightstand surface. So, nightstands usually aren't very big. So the top of your nightstand, what is all on there? This can turn into a dumping place. Yeah. People will have things like their receipts from things because they empty their pockets, or change, or books. A lot of people have a lot of books that you might have already read, or that you're unfinished reading, or that you're waiting to read. Whatever that looks like is your pile of books there. Sometimes it's medication or technical clutter stuff,
lotions. And
yes.
One little small surface top can be full sometimes.
And then you can't put your water down, whatever that looks like. So, this is the last thing that you see at night and the first thing that you see in the morning. And it's a space that you use. On mine, I do have a little coaster. I put my water on it. And I do have the charger for my phone. So my phone gets charged there at night. And I do have my current book. And that's pretty much all that I have on there. So a lamp. I have a lamp on it.
Yeah, I have all the same. And I don't have a book up there. I have a drawer that has all the books of guilt that I want to read and haven't started yet.
Well, and I'm not sure my book should be there either, actually, because I think that they're getting dusty. They're.
Yeah, that's a habit I broke. I used to always have 3 or 4 books, and I'm like, who am I fooling? If I'm reading, it's not here because that puts me to sleep too quick. So,
and the stuff that I see that kind of, if I don't clear off constantly, will be on there are my hair ties. Because I'll take my hair down and throw the hair tie down there, or things like that. But if you just kind of create a habit of clearing that off in the morning with whatever you've put on there the night before. Get rid of that water glass, get rid of your hair tie. If you've brought your medication there, like figure out where that should go. And then if you get into that habit, it is really nice to have a clean surface there and feel, that's one thing that I have pretty much handled, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think that a solution, if your nightstand has some drawers, they are probably filled with stuff that is not nightstand stuff. So you can put some organization to the things you do want close by, a tube of lotion or, extra reading glasses or whatever you need. But visually, it's got a place and it's there handy if you need it, but it's not out all the time. So number one, I think I'm pretty good at that one too.
But I do think that what's in my nightstand drawers, like I don't think I've opened those drawers in forever. I have no idea what's in there, and it probably is all stuff that get thrown away because it's been there for a long time.
Yes, the stuff we couldn't find a different home for gets tucked there.
So if that's clear, it's going to create calm in the morning and at night, and support better sleep and just a calm environment. So, okay, number two.
Number two is the 1 foot of space in front of your washer and dryer.
So I just cleaned this one off. I sent you a picture of it. So mine was actually on top of the washer and dryer. So I have the front loading washer and dryers, and then it has the shelf on top of it. And there was just all kinds of ridiculous stuff up there, like dog collars and just, I don't know, it was just kind of a dumping ground for old socks. And I laid out all the socks, and I told my family, like, they're going in the trash. If you have the other sock to this, like, this is what's happening right now, and we're done with all of these socks because I'll save them, and they're all sad and alone. And so
yeah, I feel like it's when you're doing your laundry, that's a project per se. That's what you're doing. And when there's clutter in the laundry room before you even start that project, you're like piling a project on a project, and it's hard to deal with that sense because it's all just jumbled and it's messy and cluttered and disorganized.
Well, and you're cleaning clothes, like you're cleaning, and it doesn't feel clean, and you're cleaning in a place that doesn't feel clean.
That's chaotic. So having, a picked up laundry room with, cabinets if you've got space for it, or decluttering what's on the shelves or on top of, the shelf on the front loaders, like you said, or making sure it's only the necessities and things that are, not everyday use. Have a home somewhere else that's actual storage and not just set down, can really, change how it feels to do the laundry, which you do have to do.
Yeah. And my front loaders sit on one of those drawers, like a little pedestal, and I wasn't even really using the drawers. And so I put a little basket inside that thing, and the homeless socks are going to go in there, but like once a month we're going to, match them, or they're going to go. So we're not saving those for like years.
Yeah. So make your laundry more pleasant by picking up the space around it and keeping it that way.
Yeah, detergent bottles. Again, change. We'll get here, but whatever's in the pockets, receipts and change, and that seems to land in lots of places, right? But,
yeah.
So clean that up, and it felt really good, and it still feels good. So I've kept that clean for a few weeks, so that feels good.
That's good. Number three, a similar philosophy around this one. This is the under sink storage cabinet. We all have that cabinet that opens up. You have to deal with the pipe under there, so it's not really like kitchen utensils for most people. I don't know. It's for me. It's always been cleaning stuff, or the scrub brushes for that. But again, since we just moved, I made a conscious effort. Like, are these cleaning things for the kitchen or for close? For the dishes, because it was a lot that, bathroom cleaning products and stuff, they just ended up there.
I think it gets shoved. It starts getting shoved in there. It's like, oh, it's a cleaning thing. We'll just put it under there. And it is like things that don't even need to be under there.
Yeah. So we have a lot more space when I kind of designated where everything needed to go, and it makes cleaning easier. It's in reach. You don't need a lot of kitchen cleaning products.
Yeah, so I bought for under my sink because it gets deep back there, right? And then
Yeah.
it gets shoved in. So I had bought these kind of like little shelves that stack, and they just kind of go in the front, and that's all that I have now. Like, not there's not stuff back behind because you can't get to it anyway, and so I just kind of keep it in those little front ones, and it's the spray Dawn and like
Yeah.
the spray for the counter, and trash bags are in there, and it's not, like you said, it's not a ton of stuff that actually should live there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you don't have to fumble when you're doing the dishes and dig, and if you just have your dishwasher pods or whatever you need for that, and your dishwashing liquid for the dishes, you don't need a ton more under there, and it's just a different feeling.
Yeah, it's easy to grab the things you need. And again, the whole purpose of this is to make life feel simpler and less stressful, and have to have like less decisions about everything. You just, it's just a few things, and you just grab one, and that's it. It's ready to go.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
We have also in another sink, I have the cleaning, but it's in like one of the carriers, right?
Yeah.
So, and then it's all together, so you can just grab the carrier and clean and grab that
Room to room.
room
yeah.
to room. So that, if that's what you need, if that's where your storage is for your cleaning stuff is only under the sink in the kitchen, maybe that's a solution, and whatever fits in there is what fits in there, and we don't need more than that. Pick what fits in there, and take that from room to room.
Yeah, I need one of those so I can go bathroom to bathroom.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Added to my list. Yes.
All right, next.
Area number 4.
Sorry. Entry drop zone. So this is, we did this in our house too, a few years ago, because my car key, I'm not the best. I lose things, friends. I lose things. So we made a little, where you have hooks for the keys, and that's where they go, and made a little drop zone. And so it does get messed up though, if you just continue to throw things there. So you have to kind of continually clean that out.
Yeah, I think that those drop zone areas, they get so out of control because you don't have those parameters on it. I know when my kids were still living at home and younger, and we had, where we came in from the garage, they wanted to kick their shoes off there and go, and which was fine. And we had, a little shelf they could put them on, but it was always my rule, 2 pairs per person max, because what happens is you wear that one random pair of shoes and you kick them off, and you're not going to wear them again for weeks, but they sit there because that's where you take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Or, being seasonal about what you have hanging on the hooks. If it's your, heavy winter coat, and, we're in Ohio, we have seasonal changes. If it's going into April or May, and you don't need to look at that heavy winter coat for 6 months on those hooks, and 5 coats or whatever. It's super convenient if you have space for this type of drop zone, and it keeps it, out of the kitchen, off the table, and things like that. But you'd really have to be vigilant to have it be what you're truly using day to day, and not just overloaded.
Let the mail pile up there and all of the things. So we've talked about mail before, and I would say 90% of the mail is junk mail anyway. And so I always throw that away the minute, before I even, from the driveway to the garage trash can.
Yeah.
I sift through it, and then it doesn't even come in the house. And then, we have a specific spot that the bills go if we are getting paper bills. There's so much of it is online now anyway, but if there's something that's important that comes in the mail, it goes in one spot. And so if you kind of get yourself to create a drop zone that's going to work like that, then clean that up and, continue it.
Yeah, it's such a good feeling. I mean, typically that's the last spot you feel as you're leaving the house, you go through as you're leaving the house. And if it becomes a moment of flurry of oh, where's my keys? Where's that other shoe? Where's this? You're taking all of that energy out of the house with you to wherever you're going, of feeling behind and, not quite put together.
Yeah.
And if you're coming home and it's so stacked up, and then you're trying to bring, whatever you're bringing in, your purse
There's
or
not
your
room
coat,
for
and there's
it.
not room, you're losing that feeling of stepping into what should be a retreat as you come home, like your peaceful place. So it can really set your emotional tone. One of the areas on this list the most, I think.
I agree with that. And it saves you all that time. Like in our downsizing class, we talk about how much time we spend looking for things that we can't find. And if you create a drop zone that is really useful, and your keys always go there, and you create that habit where you walk in the door, your keys go on that hook, maybe your shoes go under, whatever that looks like for you, and you just continually do that as a habit, you aren't searching the house for your keys, and you aren't like, oh my gosh, I'm late and I can't find this, that, or the other thing, which we all know feels terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is how we started the episode. So you were saying like you had a drop zone that you kind of didn't like what was happening when you started in your new house. So now you have to figure out where it is and what it should look like.
Yes. Well, our, mudroom cubby is being built this week. So
Yay, that's exciting.
maybe I'll have an actual drop zone and get it off the island.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting it on the kitchen counter is probably the worst. I feel like, create a zone that's somewhere else if you can. Because that I just think feels, then you're trying to cook and all of the, whatever, and it just doesn't feel
and
good.
you need that space in that moment of cooking or food prep. And so you stack, it gets moved from there to like, it's not an official resting spot.
Yeah. Not your eating table,
Yeah.
not your, not your kitchen counter. Yeah.
Those are the things that get shoved and pushed and stacked. So, okay. Area number 5. The inside of your purse or your daily bag.
Yeah, this one. So what I end up always is lots of receipts. I get a receipt, I shove it in my purse. I get a receipt, I shove it in my purse. And then, I'll be digging through and it's just full of receipts that probably, some of them I didn't even need to keep in the first place. If I go, to McDonald's, I don't need to keep the receipt for it. Now, I mean, if that's a business expense or whatever's happening for you, whatever. But for the most part, there's receipts I do need to keep, but most of them I don't even need to keep in the first place. But then my bag just gets stuffed with that kind of receipts is probably my biggest one.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a little bit of a change happening where so many more places ask you, do you need a receipt? And I love there are cases when of course we do, but the little
Save
fast
the paper.
food, like a couple dollars for something, I don't need that receipt, so no thank you. And definitely, I think I've said it on past episodes, but years ago, I'd have the larger purse, and then one day I'm just like, why am I carrying this stuff around? I mean,
Mary
literally all day, every day, I'm lugging this bigger purse. And when I dug through it, it was like, old bills still in an envelope that I had paid, but just didn't, it got tucked, and receipts, like you said, or,
Gum
way
wrappers,
too many
or
packages
pens.
of the tissues, or just not like one supply of here's exactly what I want and need, just the overload.
Well, and I think be thoughtful about whether you need it and how often you use it. I think there's definitely people who carry a lot of stuff around that they just don't really use all the time.
In case
and they
of emergency.
Think, let's make a deal, might happen, and I'm going to have to pull out, some crazy thing out of my purse. But, and I've gone into a much, much smaller purse just because I don't feel like I need all that, to carry around. So just a thought process on what your actual bag looks like also.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're just doing the quick and down and dirty and the 15 quick things, just clean out the pocket of the purse, clean out the receipts and whatever else is in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 6, the bathroom counter corner. Just pick one.
Yeah, so not
foot.
not your whole counter if you have a bigger one or all the drawers in your bathroom. You can do those one at a time, one drawer or one little corner of the counter. But a lot of people have all kinds of stuff on their counter sitting out all the time in the bathroom, which is, lotions and medication and stuff to do your hair and, all of the things. And so first of all, just be super realistic. Are you using it? Is that like 3 lotions ago that you've now changed to the next one because you didn't think it worked and now it needs to go?
Yeah.
Right? Or, what are you actually using on a daily basis?
Yeah. I'm good in this category. My bathroom countertop is clear. The soap dispenser is up there, but that's it. And
I think
I
that
love
is
that.
a function of how much storage you have in your bathroom, right?
Yeah.
So I've had bathrooms that had very, very little storage, and my current bathroom has more storage. But I think you just need to, if you really only have like kind of under the sink in your bathroom, then get some plastic bins that have little drawers in them and be very specific about what you're going to keep and how you're organizing that. If you have a little bit more room, it doesn't mean you have to fill up every drawer, though. Remember, we've talked about that. So, but look at old makeup. Makeup does go bad, so you don't want to keep it forever. Perfume samples that you aren't going to use the perfume, you decide you didn't really like that, or out of date things that expire. Sunscreen expires. There's stuff that expires, and definitely medication expires.
Yeah.
And even Band-Aids, honestly, if you keep them too long, they're not going to stick right and whatever. So just kind of be cognizant of all the things that.
I think, usually we're not proponents of just buying tons of bins and baskets and just organizing things without really purging first and downsizing those things. But I think some of these categories that we're talking about today, once you've done that overhaul of what you truly need, it's a great point you made about the storage options built in, are not always there, but these are great places where once you've cleaned it out, you could buy something that fits for your space that adds that organization, but by default, because it's some sort of a drawer or a bin or a box, it puts a parameter.
You can only keep a certain amount as long,
Yeah.
because if you're deciding, hey, I don't want my counter to be full of this, I want to walk in and have a clear counter and be able to, just have a few things on it, then you do have a parameter of your space that you have left to use, and I promise you're not using it all. You just aren't.
Yeah, and once you've gotten down to what you are truly using, you can get that basket or something that can visually tuck it away. It might still live on the counter, but you then once that basket's full, we're not doing more and more. It's time to look back.
Right. Okay. The surface of your refrigerator door, number 7. So I am not a person who has a lot of stuff on my refrigerator, like pictures and whatnot. So, but that is something that, a lot of people do. They put up either pictures or they put up like things that they want to remember. Like, okay, this is coming up, and it's almost like a bulletin board.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not a person that puts a lot on my refrigerator either. I think that's just personality based, but I think there's a question to ask yourself, what habit, if you are a person that wants your reminders there or the pictures there, at what rotation are you going to build the habit of pulling down the stuff that's expired, events that have already happened, just making sure you're curating what's there. If you enjoy having family photos there, there's still room to curate down to a reasonable amount that you like, so that it's not overwhelming you with just that clutter feeling.
Because it is a visual. I feel like that is a big, I want to say noisy. Like it is a big noisy kind of look when you have stuff all over your refrigerator. And I will say, like, when we tell people when they're selling their house to get ready, we want all of that off, because when we take a picture, it doesn't look great to have all of that on the fridge. So my question for you is, do you love it, or is it just a habit you've created? You ended up sticking something up there, and then you stick something else up there, and you got a magnet from the guy that came for your HVAC, and you just shoved it up there. Like, is it purposeful, and you want it like that, or is that just something that happened and now you just aren't paying attention to it? But it is visually affecting you.
Yeah. And I would say if you are the person that is like Heather, Jody, I love it. I love seeing those things. There are some suggestions to take a little bit of the noise and still get the enjoyment. I know I've been gifted magnets of our grandkids that are like, you know, a couple dollars at Snapfish or whatever, but the magnet is the photo.
It's like a picture
so
frame
you
almost.
Yeah, it's just like printed on
magnet.
a full back magnet. And so if I put a couple of those on, you don't have the like
And the
corner,
magnet.
yeah, the magnet too, and the corners are flopping in the wind because it's not fully stuck, and or choosing, you know, buying and looking and buying a 6-pack of beautiful magnets or strong, sturdy magnets, and letting go of the pizza coupon magnet that,
Right.
you know, the place is out of business, you've had it so long, or, you know,
Right.
those can reduce the clutter and still keep what you want up there if there are things that you really just enjoy having there.
And I think that just from our experience of being in people's houses so much, what I see when is that people have stuff up there and it's like a calendar from 3 years ago and whatever. So they really they just aren't looking at it anymore or haven't, you know, like it's not something that's, oh my gosh, that's really useful to me and I do use it all the time. If you do, that's fantastic. I'm not saying don't. But I think that most of the time it just ends up going up and never coming down. So when am I doing that? Monthly, am I looking at it? Quarterly, am I looking at it? When am I looking at that and just being like, hey, this needs to, you know,
absolutely
be looked at. So,
absolutely.
All right, number 8, the floor space around your favorite chair. This was my mom. She would sit and then there would be piles of stuff like that she was going to work on or read or, you know, whatever those things were, magazines, hobby supplies, blankets, the remotes, you know, like how's that all sitting and what does that look like?
Yeah, that was my dad too. And
Yeah.
drove my mom crazy, I'm sure. I think that this, again, is adding in just a little bit of reset each day.
Yeah.
Like you're going to use, you know, if you want to read the paper in your chair or your book or, you know, all the things that you do want in arm's reach when you're using, you know, that spot and that's your place to relax. How do you reset when you get up? It's the end of the day before you go to bed. Like, okay, today's paper goes in the garage because another one's coming tomorrow, or you know, I don't need 6 books, I need
the one I'm reading.
The one I'm reading. You know, what truly belongs and what's a remnant of something you were doing 6 months ago that just never found a home.
Yeah.
And just being really cognizant of cleaning that up.
I agree. Yep. Because that's your retreat space. I mean, that's where you're sitting all the time and to try to relax or whatever that is. And so you don't want that to get piled up around and feel not calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Your most used medicine drawer, expired medication, empty bottles, dried up things, you know, whatever.
Yeah. We've talked about this many times. It just, so much just gets, the front row keeps moving back each time a new front row is added of new products, or one's almost gone and you buy the new and you end up starting to use the new
before you decide.
use every last drop,
Yeah.
and then you're never going to go back, and
Right.
you just,
and medication, you know, if you don't take it all and it expires, let it go. You know, just let it go, because the key here is that you're finding what you need quickly and you're not having to sort through things that you're not using anymore to find the things that you are using.
yeah. And honestly, if you're using medication for yourself or a family member, you know, if you need pain relief or you need something, the last thing you want is to be thinking, oh yeah, I have, you know, ibuprofen in there, and
Somewhere.
you need it and you either can't find it or you take it and you don't get the relief because it expired 10 years ago. I mean,
Right.
you
Which sounds ridiculous, but seriously, like if you haven't cleaned out stuff for a while, you keep it way longer than you think.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 10, 1 square foot of kitchen counter, which is similar to the bathroom counter, right? It's just what is there, and we talked about already. We don't want a lot of, you know, mail and papers and chargers, but even the kitchen too. small appliances, are you using them? Really? Are you using them?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of all of those in
Toaster
Okay.
underneath.
Yeah, toasters in a cabinet, and the air fryer and the crock pots, are in cabinet storage or basement storage, on a shelf, and just take them out when, the only one I'd argue for is the coffee pot.
Well, yeah. I mean,
That
if you're
one's-
using it daily, then absolutely. And if you have toast every single day, then it maybe doesn't make sense to have your, pull it out or
Yeah.
whatever. But you probably aren't crock potting everything or Instapotting everything, or, what. If
Yeah.
Even your mixer, and maybe that you're probably not doing that every day, or your blender, or whatever your small appliances are that you have on the counter. If they're an everyday use, of course, keep it out, use it, do that. But really think about what it is, your busiest corner, and are you using that? And is it being crowded by papers and other things that don't belong?
Yeah, I think that one trick you could do is just put, small dots of painter's tape on everything on your counter, and give yourself a timeline to, 2 months or whatever. And the
Take
first
it
time
off.
you use it, take that painter's tape off. But if you get to the end of 2 months, everything, whatever that time frame is, everything that still has that on it, you are not using in your everyday life. Either get rid of it out of the house, or decide when that is that a holiday thing? Is that a summertime thing? And where else can I store this to free up my mental space by not looking at it every day?
For sure. And that makes it easier to cook, and it feels better, and you have more space, and it all feels better. So, okay, your car console. Like that middle part in your car.
I'm looking at you,
I
Jody
know,
Roscoe.
It's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. So that again is like old receipts, and I don't even know what's in there. I think it's hair ties and drinks that I need to
Yeah.
take out every day, and
I definitely,
my car charger,
yeah,
the charger.
Yeah, I definitely had phases in my life where my car was much messier with kids and transporting them around and just being busy, that I just didn't get it cleaned out. My husband is meticulous about that, so I think he's taught me the better habit of like, okay, let's take this inside when we go in, and now it's become my own habit. But it's just peaceful. If you have to be in your car to drive somewhere, if it's clean and fresh without all the stuff, you can easily find what you need, some tissues or whatever. You don't have to dig and hunt.
I think what you said is exactly the thing, is that it's the habit.
Mm-hmm.
So in your car, I think it's like, look around when you park in the garage, look around, and what is it? Did you use tissues? Did you,
Yeah.
whatever that is, and it comes out every time with you. And if there's a receipt that's there, whatever that is, that's the habit that I need to create around my car.
Yeah.
Is just, it all has to come out as we go. Mark Roscoe will be so happy if I have created this habit.
Yes, well, I give full credit to Matt for creating it, because I wasn't always that way, but now I am conscious of it, and I do look around and just grab that stuff, and it's just nice then when I get back in.
It is. I agree with that.
It's all cleaned out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, number 12, the most opened junk drawer. Now, I have thoughts about whether you even need a junk drawer or not, because everything should have its place. So,
Yeah.
The quote junk drawer is like it's requesting you to shove things in it. Don't go there. But,
Yeah.
but almost everybody has one. So what is that? Dead
Yeah.
batteries, too many pens, they might all work, but you get them from wherever and they just start accumulating, and you have too many pens, or random hardware that's like, here's a screw that I don't know what it goes to, or a charger that I don't know what it goes to, or broken
Yeah.
things go in there, so what is that like?
And this is, when you live somewhere for a long time, this is one that may have started out with good intentions. I think I agree with you that junk drawer it should be more defined than just everything random, but there has to be a spot for the somewhat random stuff. So we all have it. But I think what happens is that it literally has no organization or no direction to the drawer.
Correct.
And so as soon as it's full, you just morph the next drawer down and the next one. Like it spreads and you end up, I think if this one resonates with you, you probably have 4 or 5 junk spots or whatnot. So with many things, setting a parameter and a little bit of organization around it. If it's that drawer where you keep all the pens, can you use a drawer divider, or something inside the drawer, like only this many, and it's not mixed with all the screws and the batteries and all of that, and, maybe get a battery organizer or, a smaller, here's extra keys or here's this, and it's just a little more known what's in there, even if it's a collection of random.
And I think what happens with junk drawers, and then you get them, in different places in the house, but we did do that when we moved into this current house, is we have an area where batteries go, and that's the only area in the house that batteries go.
Yeah.
And so because in the old house there'd be some of the junk drawer, maybe some in my desk and some in Mark's desk, and maybe the kids would have, and so you don't actually know what you have. And if you coordinate, everything goes in one place. If all the batteries are just there, then we're like, oh, we need more AA batteries, instead of let's go look at this place and this place and this place all over the house and whatever. And it actually makes it easier.
Yeah. I asked years ago for the as seen on TV, the battery daddy. And I mean, small things really.
Oh, girl, I know.
It just lives in our laundry room, on its shelf in the cabinet. And, it has a certain number of spots. The more popular batteries have more spots, whatever. And so we know ahead of time when we're out of, the AA are running low, and we can stock up when we need them. And there's nothing worse when you need a battery for something.
For the smoke detector, and they're the D or those whatever, those rectangle ones.
Yeah.
And it's 2 a.m. because that's the only time they ever die.
Yeah.
And you don't have the battery for it, and you don't know where it is. You're
Right.
looking all over the house for different ones.
Yeah, or you can't do whatever you wanted to do that required new batteries without going to the store first.
Yeah, the remote stops working.
Mm-hmm. Or if they're all over, you might have them, but you're going to go to the store because that seems easier than checking
Right.
15 spots. So
Right.
we have all been there, but
Yeah.
pull
I
some-
think it's about organization, and it's just about, creating habits around how you're going to handle different things.
and like things together.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, 13, the surface of your coffee table. This is another place where papers and books and it's a theme. You're hearing the theme of what ends up landing all over the place, whether it's on your kitchen counter or your nightstand or your coffee table or around your feet of your favorite chair. They're really all the same kinds of things that usually end up landing in these places. And so when you look at your house, if all of the surfaces have piles of stuff on it, again, that's another time it makes you just feel kind of a little bit nervous. Like your nervous system is affected by that, whether you realize it or not. It is happening.
Yeah.
And so if you can have a clean surfaces in your house, it just makes the whole house feel more calm.
I think the coffee table is one spot we see in many people's homes, or I've seen in friends' homes, where people think it needs to be full of decor.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of empty space, so you don't have room to utilize it for its purpose, to put a drink in a coaster or whatever. And so it becomes like a tug of war in your brain, like, oh, this isn't working. And the reason it's not working is because it living as a clean space until you need to use it is okay.
Yeah.
And
Less is more.
people have, sometimes those stacks and things are put on there deliberate, like, oh, it's
It's decor.
decor if I have my coffee table books and things. And life might be a little easier if it was just a clean surface until you needed it for its purpose.
Yeah. Okay, number 14 is your pantry, but just one shelf. If we're going to do things
Yeah.
quick on this one, it's one shelf at a time. So expired snacks, duplicates, stuff that's stale, stuff you're not going to eat. I literally just did my pantry too. I've been busy because I've been
New
in
year.
the mood. I know. Been
New
in the
year
mood.
reset.
And so if it's expired, we're throwing it away. If it is going to expire in the next couple months, and I don't think I'm going to use it between now and then, it's going to the food bank. Because I can buy it again, if I end up using it, but you'd have to check with the food bank. Most of them cannot take expired food. And so I would rather give it to them, have them use what's needed now, and me buy it again. If it's a can of something, it's not super expensive in the first place, but I would rather have it be used than have it expire.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just one shelf at a time, just so that you feel, but you'll be surprised at what you can, how you can clean that out.
Yeah, the pantry's another great spot for like things together, so
Yeah.
you know what you have. All your snacks
One
in one
space.
spot,
Mhm.
your condiments, your extra backup condiments or canned goods or whatever. Keep it together so it's easier to, at a glance, see what you have. That really helps a lot.
Yep. And then our last tiny space is the foot of the floor space at where the beginning of your closet is. Are your shoes all in a just jumble pile? What is the floor space of your closet look like? Right that beginning front part of it.
Yeah, that I pictured just the space under the hanging clothes.
Right.
Like what all has
What
been
does that
shoved
look
in
like?
there and
Yeah.
kicked off, where you're standing into a big pile.
Right. Is it purses that you're not using? Or bags that you're not using? Is it just piles of shoes? And the more you get back, the more you're not using them. You're probably using those first ones in the front and you're not using the rest of it behind. Is there laundry piles there? Is there a better way to organize some of that, how your laundry works? Have you shoved laundry to where there's clothes that need to go to donation, or like stuff that isn't working for you, and just pull that all out and figure out what it is.
Yeah, get it out of the house if possible. Get
Yep.
it to the donation.
Yep. So 15 tiny little spots. You could do one every day for the next 15 days and your house would already look, so much cleaner, even though you haven't really dug into big storage spaces or, all of that, especially if you're cleaning off the surfaces of your coffee table and your nightstand and the kitchen counters and your drop space and your bathroom. I mean, if that all feels clean, the whole house is going to feel totally different.
Yeah, and it will give you the energy to tackle whatever the big project coming up is, because the last thing you want to do is pull that project into a space that already felt overwhelming.
Right.
You'll never be able to get through, and you'll get yourself buried in that process.
And I think you'll find that it doesn't take as much time as you think,
Yeah.
even though even big projects don't take as much time as you think. If you can do one shelf of your pantry in like 10 minutes, honestly, then you just realize, hey, I can handle this whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys need any resources, please reach out to us through our website, downsizingroadmap.com. You can reach out and request our free downsizing guide. We can talk about some of this stuff in there, and we look forward to being back next week with a new episode.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us on the Downsizing Roadmap Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might need a little downsizing inspiration. Have questions or ideas for future episodes? Reach out to us on our website, www.downsizingroadmap.com. Until next time, let's keep simplifying and moving forward.